OCO Halito, it is RRJXI Get at me for your life path and spirit astrology sessions readings now. All right. Now, this is Originals History Month. Original peoples of the earth. Original peoples are melanated peoples on every continent. All right. Do your research of each continent. Their original peoples were from the darkest of brown to the lightest of brown. Melanated peoples, the original peoples, they went by many names of their originals, aboriginals, indigenous language. All right. It is the misnomer Black History Month. It should be Original Peoples History Month. So, all right. Now, y'all know we came with the higher spiritual systems, the higher science, the higher knowledge, and understanding, all right, of what happens in the cosmos and what happens on the earthly realm. A balance of that, right? So this book I'm coming from, because we talking about Return of the FireKeepers. So I'm gonna be in this section. I'm gonna be going over this book, Return of the Serpents of Wisdom, and we're gonna go over Return of the Thunderbeings. All right, yeah. So, in the beginning of this book, it talks about the Lemurians and the Atlanteans. But this is because of Pangea. This is a map of Pangea. Basically, one big landmass with little bodies of water. All right. Now, these high spiritual beings came here. All right. And they came here to share wisdom. All right. They came here to share wisdom. Now, they say it in an allegorical way. You have the great mother, the great serpent of fire, the great serpent of wisdom, the great mother, because her powerful fiery energy flows in like a serpent snake motion. All right. It is so powerful. All right. Now, the mother gave birth to a set of fraternal twins in these mythical stories that describe what happened and how we got here. All right. These spiritual beings came and they talked to the humans that were here. And later you have some mankind and all that come, but the humans that were here, these high spiritual beings, which are a reflection or a piece of the great spiritual mother. All right. Now, I want to go over this little excerpt right here because we're going to deal with the Thunderbird and the Snake clans of the Americas. But this is leading up to Arizona, Sedona, Arizona, the temples in Arizona, and the Hopi. Okay. Some of the prophecies of the Hopi. All right. Now, all right. It says the sisterhood of serpents. Serpents, don't be afraid of that word in this instant. It's just talking about sisterhood of the FireKeepers. Okay. All right. Along of the Kabaroi Brotherhood, there existed upon Atlantis a sisterhood of female serpents of wisdom, female FireKeepers. All right. It comprised of a hierarchy of adepts striving to unify with their cherubim or higher selves. Let's highlight that. It said this sisterhood, all right, they comprised of a hierarchy of adepts. All right. Are you an adept? All right. Or you feel just you got to go through all these, you got to pay money and get initiation into this or to that, or is the spirit speaking to you and dealing with you to where you're an adept, you on a whole nother level, you understand, you have an understanding of these things, you've had these spiritual experiences. All right, so it says the hierarchy of adepts striving to unify with their higher selves, their cherubim, their higher selves through intensive yogic uh, um, disciplines, exercises, when they say disciples. But it's talking about they did these yogic exercises, basically. They served alone or alongside their brothers as priestesses within many of the Atlantean temples, especially those dedicated exclusively to the serpent goddess. All right. The great serpent goddess. An example of the great serpent goddess, the great mother that has this powerful energy frequency that's on a whole nother level. An example will be in Haitian voodoo, Louisiana voodoo, uh, the Loa Aida Wedo or Dambala. All right. That powerful energy, right? Aida is the female aspect and Dambala is the male aspect. All right. When they left, it says, when the sisterhood and brotherhood, they left Atlantis, they traveled to different parts of Pangea, right? They traveled both east and west to North Africa, Mexico, the Mediterranean, Asia Minor, and South America. Whereas the historical Amazons, they founded numerous important mystical and mystery school traditions in honor of the Great Mother, the Great Serpent Goddess. Wherever they settled, these Amazons became famous for wearing snake skins into battle and religiously worshiping prolific images of the Serpent Goddess. Really, okay, they were spiritual. All right. They just wasn't religious. All right. So they talk about these Atlantean ones. And then in the other part of the book, it talks about the Lemurian, the Mu ones. All right. Here's a map. All right, y'all can stop this. It says surviving proof of Atlantis, that it did exist. It says there was Atlantis at some points in its evolution. It says from the Lemurian Fellowship. All right. You had Lemurians and Atlanteans. All right. Now, Atlantis, Pan, it's Zamana. All right. This is like the Garden of Eden, so to speak. All right. They talk about they reference Blavatsky in her book because she learned from our melanated ancient ancestors. All right. She learned the spirituality. All right. It's talking about the primal dragon was born out of the cosmic sea and possessed a triune of powers of spirit, which were symbolized by three um, pronged tridents. All right. Now, these higher beings, they had these 13 mystery schools. All right. And it was women and men, right? So I'm just giving y'all an overview because we about to go to, the Arizona and the Hopi. All right. And Anasazis. Okay. All right. Sedona, Arizona. This is the ancient port city of the Lemurians. Let's look at this. All right. All right. Let's go back. All right. All right. Sedona, Arizona, ancient port city of the Lemurians. Because of their auric sensitivities, many Lemurians were fully aware of the Earth's etheric energy grid. They knew that the planet's dragon layers had the property of amplifying and purifying whatever was placed within their perimeters. So they consistently constructed their parks and temples directly over these powerful spots, these dragon lair, these energy centers. All right. This is where you get ley lines and the chakra system of the earth, right? All right, so this is some powerful shit in Sedona, Arizona. All right. Now it says, now I've been to some sacred, powerful places in my life. Sedona is on my bucket list. Now, y'all can go to my videos and fact check me. I have been to the Yucatan. All right. I've been to Chichen. It's a powerful place of my ancient ancestors. All right. I've been to Cahokia Mounds, the city of the sun in St. Louis, Missouri. I've been to Wakanda Springs, Wakanda Lake in Kansas. All right. Wakanda Lake is Great Spirits Healing Waters. All right. I've been to Poverty Point Mounds, and Sedona is on my list, and some other places are on my list. And when I go to those places, I will document it for you all. So back to about Sedona, why it's on my bucket list, right? All right. Now it says these dragon layers, these power points, these ley lines, these energy powerful centers, okay? They constructed parks and temples directly over these power spots. Some of the more powerful vortexes thus chosen became the sites of entire Lemurian holy cities. One holy Mecca, for example, was built over a huge dragon's lair in the area of what is now Sedona, Arizona. Upon the vortex of Sedona, which eventually became a colony of Mu, all right, the Lemurians built numerous energy conductive temples and pyramids. Within these sacred structures, they could readily manipulate their own and each other's auric fields in ways which promoted spiritual growth and evolutionary development. Some temples contain energetically modulated chambers, which facilitated a smooth transition for entities traveling between dimensions. They were focused for teleportation purposes by Lemurians traveling between Sedona and Mu. All right. As well as by highly spiritual or angelic or highly spiritual extra, ex, extraterrestrial serpents. These are just highly evolved spiritual beings, all right, from other places, other dimensions, all right. They are traveling to Earth from other star systems and dimensions, all right, because of the strategic function played for these unique temples. So these temples, they built these temples on top of these powerful centers of these dragon layers and vortexes and ley lines. Even the invaders, when they came, for example, in Mexico, that temple for our Virgin Guadalupe, it's in Mexico City. They built a temple on top of a sacred mound, on top of a sacred pyramid. All right, to hijack our ancestors' sacred ancestral places of power. this is how they've been able to usurp and just, teach Catholicism, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Abrahamic religions. They have just bombarded our people with that because they have built on top of our ancestors' sacred, powerful places where we flowed in our spirituality. All right. We didn't have this Johnny come lately religions and shit. Okay. That's just like the Catholic Church. Now it was the Sibyls before that. Now they highlight the men patriarchal priests and shit. Look up the Sibyls. Look up all this shit that I go over in my videos. I'm just trying to encourage y'all to research where all this stuff came from that you hold on so dearly. You hold on to these Abrahamic religions so dearly. You don't even know where they got the shit from. You don't even know who wrote the Bible and where they got it from. You don't know all this stuff. You need to research. Even those allegorical books say study to show yourself approved. You want to see where they got the knowledge from and how they changed it and warped it and all this stuff. They repackaged your ancestor shit and gave it back to you watered down in a whole nother way. You got to learn how to read it allegorically and esoterically. All right, to get the bulk of it. All right, so let's get back to this. All right, so now it says that they were traveling to and from Earth to other star systems and dimensions because of strategic functions played by the unique temples. Ancient Sedona became an interplanetary and interstellar headquarters for diplomatic relations between the Lemurian motherland and the rest of the cosmos. Excuse me. So Sedona is like the capital where they like to go to have interplanetary, interstellar travel to other star systems. You know how we travel and we go from the Americas. We visit Central and South America. We visit the Mediterranean. We visit the diaspora, Africa, Alkebulan, the Caribbean, Haiti, Cuba, all the islands. We visit Australia, the 7 continents, right? How about traveling and going to different star systems? I'm ready for that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? We going to Venus today. We're gonna chop it up with the spiritual beings from Venus. And they're gonna give us some truth, some game, some truth on how to, prosper here on the earth realm. Some shit like that. Okay? All right. So, all right. A visit to Sedona's Canyon of the Temples. All right. In February, it is February now, in February 1987, the man who wrote this book, he personally saw Sedona, and as it must have appeared during its Lemurian occupation. Okay. He had this psychic shamanic vision. All right. He did give some maps and everything. All right. Now, Sedona during it says this was in Boynton Canyon. All right. Perhaps the most powerful of the 4 major vortexes in this area. So when you go to Sedona, when you go to Arizona, you want to go to Boynton Canyon. This is a powerful vortex place because the earth has a chakra system. We have a chakra system. All right. Now, the stuff that we have and we deal with, it mirrors what happens in the heavens and the cosmos, right? So, you want to like turn your spirituality up? Visit sacred spiritual places. Like, I've visited some spiritual sacred places, and visiting those powerful centers, it has enhanced me in some ways. And this is why I have a bucket list of other places that I have to go to tap into that energy. I mean, you can also do a shamanic journey and go there. You can go there on a shamanic journey, but that's another video. It may tie in, but let's keep on. Let's go to Boynton Canyon. It says it is perhaps the most powerful of the four major vortexes in Sedona, Arizona, right? All right. So he went to Boynton because he went there with his wife. Him and his wife went on this journey. All right, this man writing his book. So he shares his experience and he breaks down knowledge that he's learned from books and these secret sisterhood and brotherhood societies, because now is the time of the revealing of the secret shit. The veil is lifted with this age of Aquarius. I did a video, a live stream for the air signs, and Aquarius is an air sign. All right. Check that out. We are in the age of Aquarius, but we got the residue from that Piscean shit. This is why these religions, they trying to hang on tooth and nail. I had did some videos back in the day, and I was talking about this shit. And even when I was in Judeo-Christianity, I had visions of me not being in it, which was really crazy to me. Tapping into like some higher spiritual shit, and it's just crazy. But I've been to Mesa, Arizona. But on my bucket list is Boynton Canyon. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of the shit, right? So, all right, okay, he went there. Okay, all right. Okay. He felt compelled to examine one of the canyon walls. Scanning the upper portion of the wall, he spotted a ledge jutting out from it. He intuitively knew that he needed to climb up to. So when he went there, he had this experience of, I know where the fuck I'm at. I know where all the secret shit is. Have you been to a place and it felt like home, like you know where shit is at? And you ain't been there spiritually that you can remember in this lifetime, but you know where shit is at. This is the kind of experience that he had when he was in Sedona, Arizona, right? All right. So, okay. He said, even though he could see the ascent was going to be a difficult one, he would be forced to trailblaze most of the way. Okay. So he's just telling about his experience, right? Okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes of the shit. So basically he was seeing four dimensional structures. So this shit was so vivid. He was trying to distinguish, was it fantasy Was he having a vision? He saw the colossal dimensions, okay, of columns. Okay, I'm trying to get to the meat of the potatoes. All right, he's talking about okay. Okay, so in the center of all these temples, he noticed a radiant silver pyramid, perhaps made of metal, with golden disc attached to all four sides. Okay, if there was a door into the pyramid, he couldn't spot it. All right. All right. He's just talking about he saw this temple, right? He took out his binoculars. All right. It had ornate carvings similar to those he had seen in sacred temples of India, which is Eastern Ethiopia, Hindustan, Northeastern Ethiopia, Hindustan. All right. So in this book, it talks about the Nagas. Those are the Serpents of Wisdom, the FireKeepers, the Nagas of Hindustan, the Jedis of Alkebulan, Africa. It talks about the Omarus of South America. It talks about the Kukulkans and Quetzalcoatls of Central America. It talks about the Thunderbird clans and the Snake clans, which I'm trying to get to with in Arizona and Sedona, right? So he had this experience at Boynton Canyon, all right, of esoteric legends of Sedona and its Mu or Lemurian affiliations, all right. So this is, okay, basically when part of where Lemuria, Mu, and Atlantis was, when that land, that earth part start breaking up, they dispersed into different parts of the world. All right. Basically, they talk about these 13 mystery schools. They dispersed everywhere. And I did show y'all a map in the last video right here. All right. This is in the Americas, the Snake Clan. You have the Thunderbirds and the Snake Clans. The Thunderbird and the Snake equal a Quetzalcoatl, a Kukulkan, a feathered serpent, a dragon. It represents the marrying of spiritual beings or spiritual things. That's why it has wings. Birds, large birds of prey, are messengers of great spirit, of the spiritual realm. So this is why they had this motif of spiritual messenger bird with wings and the serpent that crawls low to the ground. So you marry spiritual things with earthly things, you are a balanced being. If you know how to maneuver on this earth realm and you are still on your spiritual shit, that type of thing. So a person that knows about the heavenly realm, the spiritual realm, the earthly realm, and the underworld. These beings, these peoples are ancient ancestors. They learned about how to master the three major realms, the three major worlds: the cosmos, the heavens, the spiritual. The earthly realm is the medium place, All right, the earthly realm, and then the underworld. Because we all have seasons in our life when we're dealing with the underworld shit, the earthly shit, and the spiritual shit. So these people were masters of this shit. Master balancers of this shit. All right. They had sisterhoods and brotherhoods. All right. And in these videos, I'm gonna go over the Wu warriors in Asia too. All right. the lung dragons. All right. And then in they cut off part of Africa. You see how Africa and Asia really, all this used to be like a big connected landmass, just so y'all know. So over here you have the Tuaregs, the Jedi. All right. You have the Levites, the Ashipu, the Nagas of Hindustan, northeastern Ethiopia, because Ethiopia used to be like a big landmass, like what they call Africa today. That's a Johnny come lately term. Alkebulan. This whole area was like, a lot of it was considered Ethiopia. All right. But you have over here the Jedis, the Levites, the Shipus, the Nagas, and then over here in Asia you have the lung dragons. Now, the person in this book did not mention the Australians. We're gonna go over a video about that. They are, our cousins. With American History Month, you will understand that melanated people occupied all of these places. Research the earliest peoples, you're going to find the darkest of the darkest. And even their deities were dark. Some of them were so dark, they started drawing their deities as green and blue. So, understand what the fuck it is. All right, so I was showing y'all the map. All right, so in the North America, you got the Thunderbird and Snake clans. You have in Central America, you have the Olmec Quetzalcoatlus, the Mayan Kukulcans. All right, and then you have the Amarus in Peru with the Incans. Tupac Amaru. Look at my videos about the Tupac Amaru and the thugs, and their connection to Kali and the Nagas of Hindustan, Eastern Ethiopia, called India today. And we're gonna go over this book and Return of the Thunderbeings, because we in this age of Aquarius, where all you people that was in these secret societies and shit, it's time to spew the venom, but not the venom. No. There's poison and there's medicine. We are interested in the medicine to heal our people. And knowledge, yes, having knowledge and knowing how to use that knowledge is wisdom. So knowing the ledge, knowing the shit, okay, but helping your fellow humans know how to utilize that knowledge, this is the time of the revealing of the shit. This is why the internet and the revealing of the information and all these books and all these ancient books, you're going to be seeing like a lot of books. Now, when somebody started showing the Library of the Vatican, when they start showing that and these other little underground places with these ancient writings and books and carvings and pictures of these, all this shit, yeah, this is the revealing time to help people flow in the higher shit so our people can heal themselves and go forward and flow in their power. This is the return of the true FireKeepers, the return of the Serpents of Wisdom. All right, revealing all these ancient recipes on how to heal our people. Like, you ain't supposed to hold on to that shit no longer. That's for when you was holding on and preserving that shit for such a time as this, because when these Abrahamic and all that shit took over, Abrahamic religions and all that shit, that it was a time of when the people were asleep. Because I've had states of being fucking asleep and sleepwalking and having moments of clarity, sleepwalking and having moments of clarity, and then just waking the fuck up. It's time for our people to wake the fuck up and heal ourselves, heal our people. And they got to know about these ancient teachings and ancient recipes and ancient exercises to self-heal. Learn, know, heal, and master self. All right? So let's get back to the shit. All right. All right. All right. So this, I want to get back to okay, they talk about the Kumaras, these spiritual beings that were on Atlantis and Lemuria, and how they showed the humans how to tap into all their spiritual shit, basically. The Garden of Eden. They showed them how to tap into their spiritual shit. All right. Now, being messengers, these messengers. All right. Masters of the serpent fire, FireKeepers. All right. This is why I be like, FireKeepers, stay lit. Okay, the culture of Atlantis. All right. The frozen snakes of Atlantis. The cherub dragons and the Kabaro Brotherhood of Atlantis. And then you have the Sisterhood of Serpents, in which I believe I read this. The Sisterhood and the Brotherhood, with these within many of the Atlantean temples, especially those dedicated exclusively to the serpent goddess. When they left Atlantis, they traveled both east and west. They went to all these parts of the world that I just showed y'all. They went to all of these parts of the world, these people. And there is a underground brother and sisterhood that knows that we all connected on a spiritual sense of we have the spark, the energy of great spirit within us. So while we was up here fighting over who got the true religion and all this bullshit, in them underground societies, they know that they connected. This is why when they join, they just want you to recognize there is a great spirit, a higher being, a source of all things that you come from. They know that in all these different religions, there's syncretism. They have similarities in how they're connected. I learned about this when I want to say like around 2007. And then I just came out full-fledged with the shit in like 2013. But in 2007, how all this shit was connecting. And I saw that it was this guy, Bonacci. That dude was breaking down astrotheology. And that's a series that I'm doing on my Enigma Solver Chronicles playlist. We're going to do a whole video, probably part 1, 2, and 3 on astrotheology, how these books, the Bible especially, has astrology in it, and how we're in the age of Aquarius. The Jesus character, the Pisces character, said when he was about to be sacrificed and put to death. He talked about look for a man holding a pitcher of water or bearing a pitcher of water, and the water bearer is Aquarius. We're gonna do a whole video on astrotheology. That Bonacci dude, I learned a lot of shit from him. It was this one man. It wasn't Billy Carson. It was another man. He was an older white man. But the Bonacci dude, he's like Mediterranean. But his name is Billy or Bill something. And then the Jordan Maxwell dude, he has some shit to say. But of course, Bobby Hemmett, and Delbert Blair, of course, the handsome older man, what's his name? Phil Valentine, him, a lot of those people inspired me, encouraged me to research the fuck out of a lot of shit. Research the origins. To know about a thing, you gotta go back to the origins. So this is why I'm sharing this book, because in this book, it shows how everybody from this area is connected to everybody from this area. You connected to this area. These people, you're connected. You're connected. Like, you see how this is connected? Yeah. And this is just one example of Pangea. But we have more in common than you fucking think. And religion is that shit is divisive. This spirituality that is in this Aquarian age is about unification. Because see my previous videos that I did, talks about the goal is to be unified and flow in this spiritual energy as one. Yes, you have your own individual shit, but as one, being on one accord for the betterment of the earth and the humans in it. All right. So I broke down how they went to these different parts of the world, and I showed y'all the map. All right. And it's basically giving reverence to the Great Mother. And one of the forms of the Great Mother is the serpent goddess. All right. Let's look at all right, some more. Okay. This is the Serpents of Wisdom that went to North Africa. So, like I said, when they land started, something started going on with their land. They went, these 13 groups, basically, they went to all these different places. And they basically built temples, mounds, pyramids, layers, and all this shit. And they tapped into the spiritual and earthly shit. And they showed the humans how to do the shit, to marry the two. Like herbs and roots, things that promote healing, things that's medicine, and then spiritual exercises that tap into your fire, your inner fire, being a fire keeper and showing people how to do it. All right. So they talk about how when they went to Alkebulan, all right. Yeah, I can pause this shit. This is a crown dancer. The Jedis in Egypt. It talks about the Phoenicians and all of this. I'm giving y'all an overview because I want to focus on some parts, but this book has a lot of shit. I love this book and Return of the Thunderbeings. This is my book. Because it shows how we're connected, how we have syncretism, how in each spirituality system, in each religion, you have something that is similar or that is the same, but it's other words. But you fighting these people over here, and y'all got the same shit. But you just calling it this, you just calling it that, and y'all kind of do things slightly different, but there's an origin to why you doing the shit the same way. But you don't know, because divisiveness of the Piscean age, that shit. All right, so they talk about the Jedis and Tahuti, Thoth, Hermes. All right, the land of Kim. All right. Okay, Greece. Who's that? Arcadians, the Arcadians and their dragon. Okay, the Danans, the Amazons, the female serpents. Y'all know I like to highlight the women because our women have been so suppressed up in this motherfucking patriarchal shit that we just leaving out of. The residue is still there, and some people trying to fight tooth and nail to hang on to that shit. But people are returning to their ancient and their ancestral spirituality systems. They waking the fuck up. All right. The Amazons, the female serpents. All right. The FireKeepers, the Serpents of Wisdom. All right. They talk about the patroness of the Amazons was the androgynous serpent goddess Athena. Now, I had like this spiritual reading from this lady, right? Powerful lady. A big sister, and she had no idea that I had been studying. I was led to study about the serpent goddess, and one during the Day of the Dead, because I celebrate the Day of the Dead, the Haitian Louisiana Creole one, Fet Gede and Dia de los Muertos, the Criollos one, and I celebrate Mardi Gras. So I was tapping into this, and before those Days of the Dead, I went to like this Halloween thing, and I tapped into the Pythoness energy. This was a couple of years ago. When I really started doing, I think it was before I started my YouTube channel. But anyway, I tapped into the Pythoness energy in Medusa, and I had got the snakes and everything, and just learning about all this. Because I had left Abrahamic religions because I was in search of the truth, the origins of the truth, and I came across a lot of stuff. And it was like I would have these visions and all this different stuff, right? And then once I had that, I will find out a book about it. I will have these experiences, and then I will find a book that break that shit down, like to help me understand what the fuck was happening, right? And so this lady, a big sister of mine, she had no idea, but she did spiritually. I was tapping into that energy, right? And so she told me about because of the cards that she had, it was Athena, the oracles of Delphi. She said, in my past life, you know how you get those Akashic readings. You want to be careful with those, because one should tap into their own Akashic records. You should have the only key to your own Akashic records. All right. Tapping into your own shit. You should have that, right? But there are some people to help you along your journey. There are some good people that help you along your journey. But everybody that try to come help you ain't fucking good, and you got to use discernment. But this woman was good. She had a good spirit, okay? She had a good spirit. Now, she told me that in my past life, I was an oracle of Delphi, which is basically a sibyl, a oracle, a shining one in Cherokee. The seers and the medicine people are called the shining ones. A Pisatima, an Elichi, a seer, a oracle, a messenger. She told me this, and she didn't know that I was tapping into that. So I shared that story because we looking at this right here, and it's talking about the Amazons, the female serpents. All right, these are women that are tapping into their great spirit, feminine energy. All right, that's what it's talking about, right? So, I had to tell y'all that story because when it said the patroness, and even with Medusa and the Sibyls and all that shit. All right. The androgynous serpent goddess Athene, Neith of Atlantis, who was worshipped in the forms of the serpent, a serpent bearing a human matriarch, the double-headed axe. These fierce women aspire to emulate their androgynous deity by becoming courageous warriors and by incarnating a male aggressive spirit into their female bodies while fighting in the name of their serpentine heroine, Neith Athene. Uh, the Amazons covered their bodies in snakeskins and brandished her symbol, the androgynous battle axe. All right. So they're just giving examples. Basically, they was on a warriorist shit. You also deal with islands, shrines, and I'm trying to get to where I said I was going, right? All right, goddess, these goddesses, all right, these different goddesses that tap into that fiery, creative, fertile, powerful energy. They also mention Hecate. All right, so let's keep going. And they talk about with her hair of snakes. Medusa was like Hecate. All right, Hecate. You have variations like Hecate, Lilith, Pangea, which I tap into Pangea and Maria Seven Crossroads, but that's for another video. Okay, the Dragon Inky and the Anunnaki. This book is just so rich because it goes, I'm getting to the Thunderbird clans and the Snake clans. I promise I'm getting there, but I'm just trying to show y'all the richness of this book. So the first parts of this book, it kind of gives you a summary, and then the other chapters devote chapters to each area: North America, Central America, South America, Alkebulan, the diaspora, the Caribbean, Haiti, Cuba, all them places. Alkebulan, Ethiopia, Eastern Ethiopia, Asia, Australia. But okay. Let's keep going. All right. Okay. The Nakals or Naga Mayas. Let's look at this real quick. Let's look at the Naga Mayas. All right. All right. The Nakals and Naga Mayas. Okay. India. This is Hindustan, Eastern Ethiopia. They migrated from Mu. All right. The migration of the serpent Nagas in Hindu scriptures. All right. The Naga serpents. The Bharata Varsha from Mu. All right. Check out my Enigma Solver Chronicles playlist. This is where I really go in on the religious aspects of this stuff. But this is another little map, okay, of the Naga Empire. All right. See how this is connected? I want y'all to really see this shit, how it's connected. The Naga Empire. This is why I say that this is Eastern Ethiopia, even though this used to be Ethiopia, but okay. Now you got Mu, Lemuria, Atlantis. All right. And they break this down. All right. This is the Naga Empire. All right. And they just show how we connected because our foundation from the spiritual centers of Lemuria, Mu, and Atlantis, they disperse throughout the freaking world with the same core principles. But we are connected. Connected, people. Connected. Connected. This is where they set up shop. These are the places where they set up shop in the Americas, you see, in the South. All right. The West Coast. This is like Arizona, Hopi land in the Midwest. Now some of these traveled to the East Coast, but this is like the Midwest on up to the East Coast. You have the Southern version, and you have the West Coast. All right, you have Central America, South America. And you see where these centers are. So these are powerful places. Wherever you see these pyramids at on this map, it's powerful places. You want to fucking go there and tap into that energy. Especially if you're trying to step your truth up, step your game up. Yeah, these powerful centers. You want to travel there. All right, let's get back to it. How many minutes I've been on here? Just almost an hour. We doing good on time, I think. Okay. So, all right. Even in Asia, all right. Even in Asia, China, Tibet. This is why they got the long dragons. And when you see the dragon, it looks like a serpent, but it flies and shit. But the other dragons are kind of more like the Thunderbird. The other dragons are like the Thunderbird. like the dragons that you kind of see in movies. They're more like the Thunderbird, the Phoenix type energy. But over in China, it looks like a flying serpent because, and you see their movies, their dragon just moves like that. Okay. Y'all know. Y'all done seen them in movies. All right. And you go to those parades when we have our little parade, they be in that dragon. All right. So this is like an example of an androgynous being. That's one, the female and the male. But let's get to the shit that I'm trying to get to. America. The serpent colonists of the Americas. All right. Okay. Now, this is like in Peru, the Incans. The Incas, they look like, quote unquote, the misnomer original Negro peoples. The Maru people. Okay. Muru, the serpent Muru. All right. I'm just basically giving y'all an overview of this book, but I'm trying to get to the Thunderbird and Snake clans. All right. This is the ancient seat of the Indian serpents. This is another map. I like how this book gives little maps and shit. Okay, this is a map of the Maru, because I keep wanting to say Maru. This is why I'm focusing. All right, this is in Peru, Brazil, Bolivia. In this area, you got Cusco, Machu Picchu, Ayacucho, Lima, all these places. All right. And then you got this map over here of South America, ancient and present. All right. It's the is that Amazon Sea? All right. Okay. They had the crouching solid gold pumas. All right. And we went over this. The areas of how we have the jaguars, and then in the Americas, and then you have the pumas in South America. In Alkebulan, you have the leopards and the lions in Alkebulan, and the different birds. It's a progression. It's a progression, but it's like they mean basically the same thing, the same core things in each area, because these people, these spiritual wise beings, dispersed and went to all these different places. So the core is the fucking same. Why you fighting? The core is the same. Research the shit. The core principles, the true core principles, are the same. Of course, some groups elaborate. All right, we get into where the fuck I wanted to be. All right. Of course, we got the ancient Incas. I just talked about that in Machu Picchu, Tupac Amaru, all that. All right. The Atlantean migrations to north via Peru. And then we got the Serpent Apaches. All right. The Serpent Apaches. One North American tribe which claims to be descendant from the early Atlantean colonists of Peru, or the Mescaleros. Mescalero Apaches of Arizona. Mescalero Apaches of Arizona. Their fascinating history was recorded by this lady, Lucille Taylor Hanson, in her book, The Ancient Atlantic, following a visit to the tribe in the early 1960s. According to secret information retained by Asa DeLugio, the Mescalero Apache chief who confided in Henson, the Apache ancestors were originally serpents who fled in boats from a sinking island homeland in the Atlantic called Pan or Old Red Land. A lot of our tribe stories talk about the star tribes, the star beings, all right, coming from other places to this earth realm, basically. All right. Following a series of adventures, these refugees arrived in the Andes, where, as the men of the mountains, they assisted in the construction of many megalithic stone cities. All right. Tiahuanacu, Machu Picchu, as well as a network of serpent tunnels, which they burrowed into the mountains. Eventually, they were conquered by marauding Indian bands of savage warriors. All right. Now, all right. Now, let's read this right quick. The Sioux, the Lakota snakes. Okay, this Peru is the land of our beginning, where we went from the old red land even before it sank, because this land is as old as the dragon land of the fire god in Atlantis. These words were spoken by Shooting Star, chief of the Sioux tribe, okay, during a visit to Peru. The chief's belief that he had returned to an old stomping ground of his ancestors was confirmed by the special handshake a group of native Peruvian shamans greeted him with. It was the traditional handshake exchanged by his forefathers, the Atlantean serpents. Chief Shooting Star's ancestors were the turtles, a branch of the fire worshipping Atlantean serpents. According to their ancient records, following the destruction of the old red land, the turtles traveled on ships to the Caribbean islands. Where did they travel? To the Caribbean islands, originally settled by the Carib serpents of Atlantis, the Carib tribe, the Carib people. So these are the Carib tribes, right? And they give you these little visuals, right? And it talks about all right. It gives you this Atlantean Apache crown right here. All right. They have the crown dance. All right. All right. Let's read this. Okay. Now, this was talking about the Apaches. And I just read an excerpt about the Sioux. All right. It talks about the Athabascan speaking Indians. All right. The male members of the migrant mountain men were then, slaughtered, and remaining women were forced to mate with their conquerors. The descendants of this union between the Athabascans and Atlantean serpents became the Mescalero Apaches. Interesting. So they saying these highly advanced spiritual beings made it with these Athabascan speaking Indians, the women, and their offspring became the Mescalero Apaches, according to this book. All right. And so they had the crown dance, a ritual dance which had once been performed on the motherland in honor of the ancient Atlantean fire god. All right. During one memorable summer's day. All right. Now they did these different ceremonies. All right. The Apache chief, the ancient Atlantean volcanic crown with 13 points. I told y'all about these 13 spiritual mystery schools or clans. They traveled throughout the world and set up shop and taught the people, right? These evolved spiritual beings. All right. And the goal is to bring the world back to unity where people are healed. Our people are healed. All right. So y'all can look at this. Okay, so they talked about this red clay and how they feel that it had been taken from the land of the red soil, the old red land. So they saying they brought it with them. All right, and I read that about the Sioux snakes. Okay, these are the FireKeepers, right? Y'all know where Mount Shasta is. That's in like Washington and California, like the state of Washington. All right. They talk about the continent of South America before finally arriving at the Mississippi Delta region. Here they are met by their ancient brothers, the Iroquois serpents. The name Iroquois means serpents, who follow them up the river in snakeskins covered boats to a territory in far north after settling in their new homeland. The turtles became known as the Lakota, with a K sound of the serpents, and the Sioux, meaning snakes, according to the late Dakota of the extinct elk tribe of Algonquins. They always trying to say somebody's extinct. But anyway, we dodging hijack. Okay. But it says the long journey of two tribes is commemorated at the Serpent Mount in Ohio. Okay. The Sioux's early South American connections are apparently corroborated by the word waka, like Wakan, like Wakanda, Wakan is different Wakanda Springs too, in the Americas, because two of them are in Kansas and Missouri. Because I've been to the one in Kansas, Wakanda Springs, and Wakanyan means your spirit. This is why Wakanda Lake or Wakanda Springs means great spirits, healing waters. All right. Okay. So they got their connection, and it says certain Peruvian tribes, the natives of the coastal high Peru, call the spirits of the unseen world and anything unusual or mysterious as Waka. The languages tell the stories too. All right. And for the Sioux have referred to the spirits of the unseen as Wakan, Wakan, or Waka. Ka is spirit. Like even in Alkebulan, Ka is spirit. And with the Kukulkans, Amarikans, that's serpent spirits. All right. So, all right. It talks about the the serpents, they went to the Americas, right? The Apaches and the Sioux. All right. Numerous other North American tribes also claim they have originated as serpents in or on Atlantis before migrating to the Americas. Most of these tribes, however, reached North American continent directly from the old Red Land rather than first passing through Central or South America. Some of their stories, okay? One such tribe is the Algonquins, perhaps the first natives in the Americas. The Algonquins claim to have originated in the old Red Land, they're calling it Pan, and anciently referred to themselves as the Pawns or the Pawnees. Also, uh, not only the Pawns, but you also have the Powhatans, all right? My ancestors, my bloodline ancestors, but that's a whole nother story. My brother from another mother, Karimio, broke down some shit about my ancestors. That's for a whole nother video. The connection to the Mayans, all right. The Powhatans, all right. All right, so all right. The Pawns, or you could look at the Pawnee tribe also. But anyway, it says the Anishinaabe may also come directly from Atlantis. All right. This means the people from before where the sun arises. A reference to the Atlantic Ocean. The name meaning sun people of the red land, Atlantis, people of the sun, children of the sun. Some people from Atlantis have people from Oklahoma have Atlantean roots. Of course, we know that they forced some of our people to go to Oklahoma, but Trail of Tears and all of that. That's rich history. It's crazy history. All right, the Muskogeans, my bloodline, Muskogee Creeks, Choctaw, Cherokee, my bloodlines. Then you got the Mohawk, Comanche, and Chickasaw. All right. So it's just saying, it talks about where they traveled to. And then you have the Kumaras in Mount Shasta. All right. I got some cards that talks about traveling to these sacred sites all over the world. And Mount Shasta was one of the cards. And it's some powerful, like, waters there. I know, like, in Sedona, there's a, like, this spiral that has, it's a certain place that has this vortex of powerful energy. And Mount Shasta is another powerful place of this powerful vortex energy. And it helps you, like, awaken your serpent power, your fire within, to a whole nother level. It's about being a fire keeper, right? So, it took us so long to get here. It took me an hour to get to this, but I'm just giving you an overview of this book, and it just shows you how it's syncretism and the synchronicities, because these 13 dispersed, and we have a worldwide firekeepers worldwide. It's about tapping into your spiritual self, mastering this human experience as a spiritual being. Tapping into it. Tapping into your spiritual self, even though you have the obstacles of like the flesh and the physical body, but mastering this shit. All right. And some of the other videos I went over this. The serpent colonists in Mexico. Tomoankins, the place where the people of the serpent landed and where the gods were created. The Etzamna, the iguana house. Pakal. Whenever I think about Pakal and Takal, it makes me think about Method Man. You did some research on Takal. All right. You did some yeah, I know you was into the Wu Warriors where they had women and men warriors where they mastered the spiritual and the physical. Yeah, they mastered that shit. But I know you did some research on Takal. Yes, you did. Okay. But so I'm just giving you an overview of this book. This is a good book to get if you want to see how that we're connected, like spiritually connected. Okay. Quetzalcoatl, the Khans, Cuckoo Khan, Quetzalcoatl. Well, we went over this. All right. And this is the map. On here, they show the map and they show it like that. But I actually have the physical book and I took a picture of the book. My book opens like this and you can see the map. See, this book online was, a PDF. It was scanned and uploaded. But this is a picture I took of the map in the book. This is my personal book. This is my research writing because I really have beautiful handwriting, but this ain't it. This is my messy research writing. But anyway, but I'm gonna look at all right, so they talk about it's a worldwide community. It's a worldwide firekeeping community, galactic firekeeping community. It's worldwide. It's worldwide. We're connected with the spiritual realm. We're just mastering it in this skin suit, in this earthly realm. We just mastering the spiritual things in this. Like, it's kind of like I feel like it's a test to basically you have this type of amnesia and then you get awakened, like you're in this sleepwalking state, but then you get awakened to who you truly are and you master the spiritual and the mental, the physical. You master that shit. You become an ascended master yourself and you teach others how to do it. That's the whole bit of the shit. But we call ourselves this and that and this and that. But the core of the shit is to learn, know, heal, and master self, become an ascended master, and show others how to. At the end of the day. So we're gonna do a part 2 and we're gonna delve deeper, but I just had to share that with y'all. But I believe I'm gonna close it here. All right. But each area This book is so rich with stuff to where we could talk about every part of Earth, all 7 continents. But since it is Original Peoples History Month, February, yeah, this is the map of the worldwide fire-keeping culture. Mastering our own sacred fire. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna leave it with that. We'll come back with a part 2 and talk about some more, because this is where our ancient ancestors settled in all of these parts of the world. And we're going to do a separate thing where we touch on Uluru in Australia, that sacred place. But all these places are connected spiritually and the spiritual core principles, but they're not really telling you that because we're leaving out of that divisive Piscean age where people feel like, oh, if you don't have Jesus, if Jesus ain't in your equation, they don't want nothing to do with it. That's the labyrinth. That is the hurdle the obstacle that they put into you, to where it's hard for you to break free of that and learn the esoteric meaning of the teachings of Jesus, and how the esoteric, the allegorical Jesus learned from the age of 12 to in his 30s. He learned from the Jedi, shaman, magicians, and priests. He learned from them, and then he learned from the Nagas, and then the Lung Dragons. He learned all of this stuff and then came back. It's a story about ascension. It's a story about ascension, mastering self. I'm going to end on that because I can get long-winded. I love y'all. I share you. Wow. Peace.